Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 at 5:30-ish p.m. We're at City Hall, and with a quorum of members present, I will be calling the Finance Committee to order. And we got a complex agenda today. We'll have a closed session and also a joint item with Public Health and Safety. So follow along. It's going to be fun. Item number one, minutes of the previous meeting from June 24th, 2025. Any discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. A motion from Gisselman, second. Second from Tierney. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. Item number two. Discussion and possible action regarding 2025 general obligation promissory note for capital improvements. And lots of information in the packet. These we'll let Mary Ann walk us through, but this is all stuff that's budgeted.
Yes. So, I wanted to point out there was a list of projects. One of the things that we were up in the air about was, if you recall, our 2024 lead service line project. We've been waiting for the state to close on that. They closed about a month ago, and they did determine that they weren't going to consider all of the costs, eligible costs. So there's about $150,000 of expenses that they're not going to include in that project. We didn't have a funding source for that. So a couple of options would be to wrap that into the 2025 regular general obligation debt issue, because if you remember, that project related to the homeowner side of lead service line, so we can't fund that through PSC related revenue bonds, things like that, because it's not a cost of the water utility. So we could wrap it into this issue. The other option that I mentioned in my memo was to just do a one-time transfer from the general fund. I am expecting, again, for the 24 budget, that we would have a profit of about $550,000 at the end of 2024. So I would feel comfortable if you wanted to just do a one-time transfer to cover those costs. If you elected to do that, we would not include it in the debt issue, and we would bring to the August 12th council meeting a transfer like that for council to consider. So that's one item, and I was hoping that you would feel comfortable making that decision today so that we can work on that resolution. The other thing, as you know, I was on vacation last week. Ellers was working on looking at what the impact would be on this debt issue. The one item that was overlooked was that TID3 actually has about $1 million in cash that it can contribute to these projects, so we'll be able to reduce the issue size by $1 million. And that is not in the information from Ellers. We discussed that yesterday. They're working on it now. Sorry. But I don't have any details, so we could go over that at the next meeting. So our calendar would be the next meeting. We'd have all of that documentation for you, and the parameters of what they think the interest rates should be. Again, the last few years we've been doing parameter resolutions, which really council sets like no interest rate higher than this amount. The reason they're suggesting we do that again this year is we have seen some volatility in the bond market due to information that's released on the federal level, which has been affecting the bond market. So they have actually this year postponed several sales until the market settles down after the release of that information. So they are recommending that we do that again this year. So they would provide those parameters prior to the July 22nd meeting for your consideration. We'd have that $1 million reduction in the issue, and then we'd have that decision on the, about $150,000 for the 24 lead service line project. And then that would go to council for consideration on August 12th.
Okay, any questions? Alder Gisselman?
Yes, thank you. Is there a reason why there was the $150,000 shortfall with regard to, do we know?
Eric's going to answer that.
Yeah, so if you recall before, it was about 254,000 that the DNR said that they were not going to cover. When we finalized the numbers with them, they had just set a hard deadline saying, or a hard number saying that they weren't going to fund any more than 25% of non-construction related, you know.
That's
So,
the number.
so that is, and that's very unique. They've never done that before on any other projects. A little over a month ago, I went down to Madison. We had a meeting with the governor's office, directly with them, expressing our frustration, I guess, for, you know, that this was just arbitrarily put in, right? And so I do think there will be changes. Obviously, that 254,000 went down to 149,000. But still, that's the amount that they stuck with that they were not going to pay for. So
Thank you.
that's why. You bet.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Well, then I'll make a motion to move that over to, what's the account? I don't want to say profit, but it's the
Yeah. do a
Revenue
transfer.
surplus.
revenues. Right,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so
I'll make that motion.
a motion has been made to cover the $149,349 from lead service line replacements with excess fund or revenue surplus from the 2024.
Yep.
Is there a second? Second from Tierney. Any further discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Right.
Opposed? And that carries. And then, is there any other action we need to
No.
do on these?
Nope.
Okay, so the rest of the stuff's information on the
We'll get updated information.
July 22nd finance meeting. We'll talk about whether TID 3 can cover that extra million, you know.
And the impact, yeah.
And the impact of that is.
Yep.
So that is good. All right. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on approving nominal payment parcel report for Business Campus Trail East-West Connector, project ID 699918-11 for the following properties: 8101 International Drive and 7801 International Drive. And this is agendized for closed session, so I don't know, do we have any business we need to cover in open before we go closed? Not hearing anything. Will somebody make a motion to go into closed? Well, yeah, we probably should. So, okay, we should probably discuss why we're going to go into closed session for this. So, Mary Ann or Eric, do you have anything to add before we go in, why we need to do closed session for this?
Yeah, I can. Hi, thanks, Mike. This is to consider proposed offers on a nominal payment parcel report for the project on the potential purchase of land and then temporary limited easements for the project.
Okay. So, with that, do we have a motion to go into closed session? Alder Tierney, do you want to read the the closed session? Or microphone, please.
Pursuant to Section 19.85 Sub 1 Sub E of the Wisconsin statutes for deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session regarding possible action on normal payment parcel report for Business Campus Trail East dash, or E dash West Connector, project ID 6999-18-11 for the following properties: 8101 International Drive and 7801 International Drive.
Great, thank you. Do we have a second? Second from Hanky. This requires a roll call vote. McElhaney? Gisselman? Hanky?
Aye.
And Tierney? And I vote aye as well. We will go into closed session. We'll reconvene back in open. Take up any business, any action on this if necessary, and then finish up with the joint committee items.